Oh, you guys, you are in for such a treat. This is episode 127. Welcome to Rambling Through Everyday Life with Fran and Angela. My name is Fran. You are going to super love this show. Let me just go ahead and forewarn you. If by chance you are a mom and you would be listening to this episode with some littles in the car, then maybe you don't want to do that. This is a little bit of some holiday Christmas conversation, if you catch my drift. And so you don't want their little ears to hear. But this is so fun. It's encouraging. You are going to hear from our fun new friend. Well, she's not a new friend. She's a fun friend. A new contributor, Angie Atwood. That's what we've called her, a new contributor. She will come on regularly to the show. Enjoy, you guys. Thanks always for listening. We love you so much. Okay, Angela Snyder. Super fun Sunday afternoon in the recording studio. In the recording studio, and I said to somebody earlier, I said, we either record like, I don't know, 7-10 days out, or we are recording this literally hours before it releases.
That is who we are.
That is how we roll. That is who we are. So it's a new week. It's the month of November.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving, Angela? Where are you today?
Not yet, Fran.
Okay.
Although I will say, I think my tree might go up before actual Thanksgiving,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Thanksgiving week. You are steadily influencing me.
The weekend before Thanksgiving is a lovely time to do that.
Well, in my house growing up, we always had a real tree. That was important to my mama. Because I've evaluated. I'm like, am I Scrooge? Why do I care about waiting so long?
Well, because that's how we did it growing up.
Yeah.
And now, listen, let me just say this too. Let me just pause and say this. I do not like, and listen, I'm not directing this at a single person. I think this is just where we've evolved as a people group. There's confusion going on because you have people with pumpkins and all the things still outside. Maybe the tree is inside. If you live on my street, then all of the Christmas lights have already come up. And so there's just a little bit of like confusion. We've got a turkey inflatable, but we've also got Christmas lights up. So that's where I do get a little like, hang on. Let's figure this out. Even though I sit here and say, I'm ready to put Christmas up right before Thanksgiving, it's just bizarre. I'm afraid we're going to miss Thanksgiving. In a couple of years, is Thanksgiving even a thing?
Well, keep Thanksgiving in business, people.
I know. Yeah.
It's precious.
Yeah,
it's about the food and the family.
It is.
But when we think about Christmas and fun, today's guest immediately comes to mind.
Dun, dun, dun. Y'all, if you're local or not local and you do not know Angie Atwood, you are in for the best, biggest, most fun surprise ever. I had to think. I think I told Angela yesterday in a Voxer. Y'all all know that's how we communicate everything. And I was pulling in to get my nails done yesterday morning. Shout out Chesney Knowles. And was like, hang on, where did I first meet Angie Atwood? And I think, Angie, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm like, I think it was Bible study days back in the day. Mm-hmm. And here comes this cute little thing. Aww. And I was like, oh, she's just precious. And then here you are. And I don't know how the two of you all met. School.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. School.
Mm-hmm.
Kids. Kids always bring us together.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell us, Angie Atwood, what do you want the listeners to know about you? Who are you?
I am 46 years old.
Shout out.
Yes. I mean, the best years. Mm-hmm. I have 4 kids. Now, this will blow your mind. When my oldest was 4.5, my 4th child was born.
Holy
I had 4 kids, 4 and under. We were told.
Yes. Pause right there.
So let me just say, going into this episode, that is why I'm crazy. Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, we were told we couldn't have any, and the Lord just blessed abundantly. And so, before that, I was a teacher, so I was in school every day with kids, and I had my creative self just going. And then I decided to stay home after the first, and so I played every day.
Yeah.
And I feel like my Christmas season is my creative outlet to kind of bounce back into that classroom, if that makes sense.
Oh, for sure.
And so I just have a ball with it. Like, I could probably be a little psychotic when it comes to the Christmas fun.
And you have the perfect husband to go along with all this.
I'm not going to say he takes the orders, But he really does roll with it. And nothing surprises him anymore. I mean, it's kind of like, seriously, this time? And I'm like, yeah, get on the roof.
Here we go.
So here we go.
Listen, okay, how old are the kids now? Tell us their ages.
They are 17, 16 in a few weeks, 14, and 12 and a half.
Okay.
And so 3 boys, and the youngest is a girl.
God bless it all.
Right. But it is the best. And when people say, I so miss that season, or I get it. I miss the toddlers. I miss the littles. But the Lord is so precious because every season gets better and better with the kids.
Yeah.
And so... yeah, so I love traditions. I love making memories. Like, I just love all the fun.
I have to say something super fast. Okay. Angie's oldest 2 boys are on this Trinity football team that I talk a lot about on this podcast. And they were, I mean, that game, the last game we had that put us into the playoffs. And
crazy.
I mean, I was texting her going, oh my goodness, Owen, oh my goodness.
There's nothing better.
Every player, it seemed like, had some key contribution. And it was so much fun to cheer for your boys and all the boys. And it's just been
so sweet.
Such a sweet, fun time for little freshman mama over here that's just bewildered by it all.
It was really everybody's best game. I have never, that was my favorite high school game that we have participated in yet.
Well, I wish I could remember the year. Maybe if Tyler graduated in, I don't know, 16 or 17, I can't remember. We had a game like that, an away game, which made it even that much better in a way because you love that home game experience. But we had that same type of thing. There is nothing like high school football. Friday nights, there's nothing like it. I have said to Angela, and then we're going to move on. This same child, the middle child that played football, baseball, he will tell you to this day, and even played college baseball, will tell you to this day that he misses football more than anything. And it's just I'd love to explore that a little bit more with him because he's about to turn 26. Like, why was that just so important to you? What did you love? But anyway, there ain't nothing like it, y'all. Nothing like
brotherhood.
It is.
And next year, I'll have 3 out there at once. That is what I remember when they were little, thinking, if y'all all love the same sport, I'll have 3 Atwoods on the field at one time, and
you're going to be absolutely
crazy. And I have precious mamas that are sending me videos or messages because I can't watch both of them at the same time.
No.
So, yeah, it's great.
Oh, it's so much fun. Okay, Angela, why did you want the beloved Angie Atwood on the show?
Multiple reasons, but we're about to do a big swing like we always do and go from one extreme to the other. So we've talked about football boys. Last week on the podcast, Fran, you mentioned this OG makeup. OG, whoever, I don't know. It just shows up in all my ads still to this day. When I think about makeup, up until recently, I have literally probably said out loud, oh, gee, here we go. I've been to more makeup counters and tried more things and left so disheartened.
Because
why is this so hard?
Let me date myself, is that I'm 53. And so back in the day, we've said this a couple of times, way back in the day when a mall was a thing and you went to the mall and you walked right up to that Estee Lauder counter or that Clinique counter and you just that was big time. You weren't shopping at the Walmart or the Walgreens. Even Walgreens still is expensive now. But you, that's what you did. And now everything has changed. Everything. And I don't think my age knows how to change with it now. We're still kind of let's go get our this, that, and the other from Estee Lauder. Nothing wrong with that. We just have more options now. Is that what's going on?
I don't know how to characterize it, but I will tell y'all 2 things if you're listening. This is not a makeup commercial.
No.
Angie's not on for this purpose, but while she's here, I want her to just recap quickly the conversation she and I had recently about it, and then we're going to get into the other fun reason she's here. But
put your seatbelt on, everybody, because here we go.
Here we go.
Well, Fran, exactly what you just said. I didn't realize this, but my skin was changing. And so, the more I learned, 40 years old, on my 40th birthday, my best friend and I went and sat at a Bobbi Brown makeup counter for the 1500th time to say, do my makeup. The woman did it. I loved it. Got home, didn't know what to do with it.
Absolutely.
And I got frustrated. But what I didn't know is every 3 to 5 years, as we get older, our skin is getting darker. Who knew that? You get darker. Wow. And so the same medium beige that I was, in Mary Kay when I was 20 was not working anymore. So long story short, I fell in love with this cream makeup because it made my face more hydrated. It was specific to me. And you had an artist that was telling you exactly where every shade went. And it was fabulous. And it's all in one compact.
Okay, let's just say this too. You're not you don't have history in the makeup industry.
A cosmetologist.
Yes.
I am a teacher that loves some colors. And hello, you just heard me. 4.5 and under were my ages of my kids. So there were days when I struggled to even look for makeup.
Right.
And so to go from that to now it's the carpool, the ball games, driving down the road. And so I can take every bit of my makeup, my entire makeup bag now is in one compact. That is foundation, concealer, color corrector, eyeshadow, lipstick, blush. It's insanity to me.
Crazy.
And I'm like, why did I not think of this? This is genius.
Listen.
So I see my friend posting these reels of her sitting there, and as she's telling some fun little story, she's put on everything on her face, and she looks good. And I'm like, Angie, if you can teach me how to do this, there is hope for literally every single person out there.
Yeah.
So I found it. I love it. And thought, then my daughter, who, like I said, is 12, last Christmas said, I think I want makeup for Christmas. Well, y'all, she's not going out of the house in makeup at 12 years old. But it occurred to me that's the only thing she asked for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm like, I kind of got to do it.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, well, I could go get a caboodles and fill it up full of Wet n Wild. But then she has learned for the next several years how to put on makeup that she's not going to go out of the house in later. And I'm going to have a fight on my hands.
Blue, sparkly
Right.
eyeshadow.
Right. Or I could just teach her from the get-go. We're not trying to cover up the beauty that the Lord has blessed us with. Like, this is just, it's fun, but not to cover things up.
Right.
You're not going to go out of this house looking like a clown.
Right.
Right. So that led me to, okay, well, I love it. But if I really want to teach her how to properly do it, let me dig deep. Let me train.
I'm so proud of you.
And so, girl, I fell in love with it, took off. I'm not a traveler by myself. I love to travel, but my security is my husband hopping on that plane with me. I think they all thought I was going through a midlife crisis because I said I'm headed to San Antonio for a week.
Could have been worse.
Way to do it.
If I don't die in the Uber from the plane to the hotel, we are good. And so that's what I did. I had a blast. I learned everything I needed to know, and that was my addiction.
I didn't know that you went and learned and did
Girl,
it. I just
for
kind
a
of thought
week.
you figured it out.
I had the time of my life.
Well, then you are like certified, and if you're not, we're going to tell people you are.
I really am. Like, I can tell you what your colors are, and everybody's face. I mean, it's amazing to me that the Lord has given everybody such different skin tones and undertones. And it's all personalized to you, and that's what makes it so amazing. So that all started with my daughter's Christmas present.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, as much as we want to talk about this on and on and on, we'll come back to this because we've already said Angie's coming back for another episode later. So we'll talk a little bit more about it. And maybe by then I will have tried it because I'm literally terrified. Because I'm like you, Angela, like this just seems like, oh, do I want to start over and figure this out and all of this? But we can.
Technique and color and matching. And it's like, picking out a paint color for your house. It's so hard to know all the ivories and the beiges and the what is it. But Angie taught me some things, and I got in my car in that natural light that usually, and you're like, oh, yeah, now I look like a pumpkin. This does not match like it did in the house. And I look so natural.
Okay.
So there's hope for all of us.
There's hope for all of us. Okay, but, well, let's go back because really, I think also outside of meeting you in Bible study however many years ago, and then, like our kids are not the same age, so I have no reason to really cross paths with you. However, I am quite sure, Angela, every Christmas we give a shout out to Angie Atwood and this fabulous, I don't want to call it an obsession. It's a fabulous daily, we get to go along for the elf ride.
Extravaganza.
It's an obsession. It really is. It's crazy.
It's phenomenal. So,
well, again, I think it goes back to the years at home with the kids, and that was my one area where I can go, let's blow the creativity out of the water, in the month of December. So yes, these elves, it started with one. I think we are on our 15th year this year. So we come, the elf shows up December 1st. And so we do 25 days. Well, I take that back. Minus Saturdays, because Mom needed a rest after every week. And so on Saturdays, the elves stay at the North Pole to go to church with Santa.
Oh, I love that.
That's my break. And so, but yeah, so 15 years of it. And when they finally have had their last Christmas, I will put all those pictures together in an album for each kid, because it has become our biggest fun part of the holiday. I mean, we totally focus on the Lord and, the birth of our Savior, but it is just fun to throw in.
Okay, Angela's got a question. I've got a question that you're maybe not prepared to answer.
I'm ready.
Let me say this first. If you have little ears listening in the car or wherever you're listening to this might be the time to turn off this podcast and pick it back up later, because we're going to talk about some
other things,
peek behind the curtain kind of things about the magic of Christmas. Also, if you are like me and your elf on a shelf tends to stay on that shelf for like 2 weeks at a time, and then you tell the kids, well, maybe he's just getting really good surveillance. It's not that the elf forgot to move.
Or the barometric pressure was bad last night and they couldn't fly.
That's a better answer.
I'm telling you.
But don't be intimidated or think this is too much for me. Angie and I talked about this a little bit, because she's about to help us if you are needing something just simple and need to borrow creativity. I'm not creative, but I can play copycat, and you've given me some great ideas. The things we're going to talk about are cheap, they're easy, they're attainable. It's just about making the holidays more fun and more meaningful for any kid in your life.
Well, and because my kids, we didn't have Elf on a Shelf when they were little. That came, praise the Lord, later. We were already past that. But yeah, because you could be listening to this right now already deciding, well, I'm not doing that. However, we're going to get to other things beyond Elf on a Shelf, because the daily stress, or even 6 days, that can be very overwhelming. And you kind of feel a little Christmas pressure. We all do to some degree or another.
Maybe the elf just needs to come once a week.
Yeah. And let me be honest, like, I don't pull these out every day. Like, this is how psychotic I am, for real. I will print off an empty calendar like in October and look at our week and go,
good.
You know what? What are some of our, did we do for vacation this summer? My daughter got braces this year. Okay, well, the elves are probably going to do something with braces this year. Like, just coming up with little ideas that reflect back on an event that we had in our family.
That's so good.
And then I'll throw that on the calendar, that empty calendar, to know, okay, well, we didn't have a ball game that night, so I know I'll have a little extra time. But that's when you can say, I'm only doing it twice a week that week.
That's so good,
and,
though.
And you kind of have already planned, and so you're not sitting there at 7 o'clock at night going,
what do we do?
What am I going to do?
Okay, I have to ask you, I don't know if you're prepared to answer this, and it's fine if you're not, but, and we can pause. Angela and I can talk about something else, and we can come back to it.
I got it.
Do you have a favorite where you go, in the last however many years, this was by far, like, I killed it. That was absolutely the best Elf on a Shelf that we did.
100%.
Okay, please tell us.
So I did it on a Friday night, and I told Andy, I need you to go ahead, early Friday, I told him I need you to go ahead and make an appointment for the barbershop tomorrow morning first thing. The elves are going to cut your hair tonight.
Okay, pause. Mad respect for Andy Atwood. When I say he goes along, this man is devoted to his wife, and yes.
So, I mean, the love of my life right here. And so, sure enough, the next morning, of course, we had to do a little prompting to wake the kids up, but I went and woke them up and was like, get in here. Dad is going to freak. And so I get him in my bedroom, and the clippers, Andy's on the side. I wish y'all could see me. He's on his side. And so we now have 4 elves. The elves get together and do things. We have 2 that are really, really good and obey, and 2 that get a little bit wild. And so that just adds to it. So the 2 that were a little wild had the clippers in their hand next to his head, and there was little shavings of hair, and visibly, like on the side of his head above his ear, there was hair missing.
I cannot even.
And the 2 girls, the good elves, not that the boys and the girls are not good and bad, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The boys tend to get a little bit rambunctious. But the girls were just kind of like with their hands over their faces like, oh my goodness. And so I still to this day have a little picture of Eden. She didn't have a tooth at all, I don't think. And she's just snaggletooth going, And so we had to wake Andy up and say, Dad, don't freak. But they have cut your hair. And so I just knew I needed him to be able to go from house straight to barbershop soon after.
I love it.
What a saint.
But that was the best. And then we had one where one night he was walking out on the roof at 10 at night because I'm like, no, just a little bit further. They're bungeeing. So just scoot over 5 more feet. Just go a little bit further. And he's like, this is insane.
Yes, it is.
So they bungee jumped off your roof.
They bungee jumped off my roof. But I really thought that was going to be the Christmas where he said, I'm calling it quits.
Yeah.
But
I
the
quit.
haircut came after the bungee, actually. So
I love it.
It kept going.
So much. I love it so much.
We cannot move on without a few more of these, though. I mean, there's
Yeah.
like a top 5 favorite, probably. Give us a few more.
I would say easy.
Yeah,
if
let's
you
go
want
easy.
Let's go easy.
An Easter egg hunt. Like, how crazy to wake up and your Easter baskets are in the living room with the elves and there's plastic eggs in your backyard.
Oh, that's so
And
good.
so Easter egg hunt in December, you may shoot off fireworks for for the New Year's. So because they're not here for 4th of July, so we did Independence Day in December. And you got the Dollar Tree, you get the little soldier men, we had the little flags, and then you had your fireworks set up.
This is brilliant.
But this is stuff you're already going to use.
Yeah.
Another easy one that I did was I went to Dollar Tree again, bought 2 turtle doves, like plastic little birds, and they hung in my light fixture, and then whipped up a little bit of Bisquick, and the birds pooped all over my kitchen.
Boys love poop.
Yes, it's sad, but they do.
They do.
But those are the inexpensive, fun. They drew on my kids' faces during the night. One night, Eden, she did not remember this, and this was a last minute. I don't even know what the elves were doing, but she had gotten up in the middle of the night and did not remember coming downstairs and getting on the couch. So when she kind of started wallowing around, waking up, and she kind of looked confused, she went back to sleep. Well, I went and grabbed the elves, stuck them by her head, and then when she woke up, she's like, how did I get down here on the couch? And I said, well, honey, I guess the elves magically put you down here.
Oh, precious.
She never remembered, and she never remembered getting down those steps. But I'm like, take full advantage of that situation.
Yeah.
Where's the elves?
I love that you still do it.
Well, I
Ish.
haven't been able to quit. Every year I say that's the last year, especially as I saw them stop believing, you know? But I always, every year, overhear a conversation between 2 of my 4 at some point, like, wonder if she's ready.
Yeah.
And it's like, challenge is on, buddy.
Yeah.
December 1st, they're coming.
Yeah.
And you've kept it relevant, like with your teenage driver.
Yeah. So I've got one last year. He'll actually be turning 16 end of December. And so last year we were studying for permit, or ready to start studying for the permit. And so we had like one of those little red light things that, sometimes they're in a cafeteria or for, sometimes classrooms. I think it actually came out of my classroom. But we had that in the playroom. So I ran upstairs, I got that. And then, of course, Matchbox car, stuck that there. And his driver's book that he needed to study for. And it was relevant to my 15-year-old.
It's cute. It's still cute and fun.
So, and then when you have a 16-year-old that does drive and you fill his truck full of balloons and he can't open his door to go to school the next morning.
Isn't that the best?
I mean, they have locked the keys in the vehicle before.
They've turned the clocks back.
They've turned the clocks back, and we've taken off and gotten everybody up. Like, oh my goodness, y'all have got to get up. We've got to go. We're going to be late for school. And then when we get in the car, the clock in the car tells us it's an hour earlier. So we just all decide we're going to go eat breakfast.
I love that.
That's so much fun.
And just the way you've made it simple for me, Cookie Crisp, you said make the best cookies.
So if you ever need the elves to make cookies, get Cookie Crisp cereal. They're the perfect size little bitty chocolate chip cookies.
That's genius. This is not hard. I just needed to borrow some ideas.
Yeah, listen, for real. And that's a lot of people. Because even you get on Pinterest or something and it just gets overwhelming.
Yeah, you don't, And honestly, the things I've seen on Pinterest, I guess that's my next challenge is I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
They took a bath in the dishwasher?
Yes. So in the dishwasher, they've been, and my kids all have their chores. And so somebody has dishwasher duty every week, And so when they open that dishwasher door, there are the elves in there and they've had their bath and their little rubber ducky.
So
but here's
cute.
the key. any Barbie clothes, if you really want to go extravagant, any Barbie clothes fit elves.
Okay, who knew?
And my daughter loves American Girl. So that's so much of where I get my props. I mean, she's got their cleaning kit up there in her dollhouse from, 5 years ago. I'm like, no, we're not putting up this stuff yet because Lord knows the elves still need the stuff.
Yes, they do, ma'am.
So
yes, they do.
That's what we do. We
What
just
about, we're going to move on in a minute, but the chargers, they took the phone chargers.
So last year, yeah, I have to say that was probably a good one. That got some work done around my house. But there's a game called Ransom Notes.
Okay.
And anyway, they were getting that for Christmas, and it dawned on me as I was getting ready to wrap gifts, wait a minute, I can use ransom notes. So I pulled the game out, set it up, took their charging cords, wrapped them around all four elves, left a ransom note, and said, I keep the chargers until your bedrooms are clean.
Genius.
And so we scrambled to get that, because who doesn't want their phone charger?
That's right.
Or their device.
That's right.
So
Listen.
we got some clean rooms that day.
I love it.
So,
Okay. I love, and I'm thankful that because listen, you really are creative in a lot of ways, but in line with Christmas, here's another simple thing that I love that you do. And I don't know how you started this, but I think, why did I not think of this 100 years ago? Talk to us about, and again, this is simple, about wrapping presents. Where did that come from? Why do you do this?
I don't even know where I got it, but so I'm sure anybody that has a kid in their house, period, 1, 4, or 10, you deal all season long with them shaking gifts, or I even feared that they might be unwrapping and rewrapping, and so the 4 of them would get together, shake gifts, and be like, I know what this is. I know what this is. And I love surprises. And that bugged me. What if they really did know what it was?
Yeah.
And so I decided one year that I was going and buying 4 different designs of wrapping paper. And then in my notes on my phone, have it labeled trees, maybe Zane, Santas or Eden, and so on. And so I identified or labeled each kid to a specific pattern, and then I wrapped all of their gifts in their pattern. They never knew what pattern it was. And so
that's so good.
So I have all these gifts under the tree, and they
Brilliant.
can shake all they want, but they have no idea whose is whose. And so then
Brilliant.
It's a fun guessing game all season. And then when we do Christmas morning and we open the gifts, we kind of go back to, okay, now which one did you think was yours?
That's so fun.
And then we kind of start with their little piles.
I love it.
Tell about the scavenger hunt.
We always do a scavenger hunt. We do 3 gifts. So it represents the 3 gifts that baby Jesus was given. And so 3 gifts from Santa, and then they'll get 3 gifts from us. And so one of the gifts from us, we will do as a scavenger hunt. And I'm not talking poems. I may
How
be able
creative
to
do we have to be?
No. I may be able to do some elves, but I cannot write poems. So, but it may be like,
Give us a haiku, Angie.
No. I don't have that in me.
Give us 17 for the scavenger hunt.
Right? So I may do let's say 8 to 10 different locations in that scavenger hunt. But they're easy. They're like, what's Dad's favorite cookie? Okay, well then there'll be they'll go to the pantry, find the Oreos, and there's the little note. Where can you play the keys? And it may take them to the piano. But when there's 4 kids, you're looking at 36 to 40 something different little things. But we all do that together. I don't send 4 kids off on some crazy scavenger hunt. We follow that kid to find what that gift is, usually with me chasing them with the phone, and they're going, Mom, this is awkward, your video. And I'm like, I'll need it one day.
I know, you'll thank me later.
Yeah.
That would be fun too for grandparents listening. When the
Yes.
kids come over to your house, just add that extra wow factor. It's not that hard, but it's just more activity and more memories and more fun.
It makes it more fun. And again, it doesn't have to be, it can be, what's Grandpa's favorite drink at night? Go to the refrigerator, the milk. There's just little note on the milk. So, it just adds a little spice, something different.
Listen, I can tell that you are creative I thought I was creative. I'm not creative in that way. Okay. Another thing that I just get tickled at, because again, this thing that you may or may not still do is right up there with, hey kids, let's gather around the table and build a puzzle, put a puzzle together. I would soon pull my eyeballs out, stomp on them, like run for my life. I cannot do it. So, gingerbread houses. I feel about a gingerbread house about how I feel about a puzzle. I think it's a patience thing I don't have. There's no joy in it. I'm instantly anxious. Like I look at all of it and I think, oh my God, I can't do this. Do y'all still do this?
We still do it. And again, that goes back to the elves. Anytime that there's something that you are going to be getting anyway, as part of your family tradition, let the elves bring it.
That's smart.
Like, why not just kill two birds with one stone? So the elves always bring our gingerbread houses.
Everybody gets one?
No, we are a very competitive family. There's obviously 6 of us, and we're going to break up into 3 teams.
Okay.
And so, but I mean, it's ruthless comparisons and competitive nature. So last year, actually, the theme of the gingerbread houses were these are a few of our favorite things. And Target had a football stadium for their gingerbread house. They had a beach house, and they had...
That's fun.
Maybe like a tree or something. I mean, it was something different. And I think I contributed that more to hunting for the boys. But that was a few of our favorite. No, it was Target. It was Target. So it was Target, the beach, and... a football.
That's fun.
How fun.
Football field. And so everybody's was not the same, which can kind of throw you off a little bit when you are competing. You know what I'm saying? But who can make the most elaborate football field and stadium?
Is there a time limit?
It just depends.
Okay.
It just depends.
Depends on what we're doing.
Right.
I love
And
it.
we do that on any season. Like I can throw a comparison and a good challenge into any season.
Okay, by chance, because I think people want to see, do you have, it doesn't even have to be that. I need us to share pictures of a gingerbread house from any year.
Okay.
I want us to share that in our stories.
Okay.
If you can.
We can do it. We can whip it up.
Okay, send something from the past because, again, that stresses me out.
Now,
I'm
that
not doing
doesn't
it.
mean they're elaborate.
I don't care.
But yeah, we've
just
got,
kudos to you because I ain't doing
normally Facebook's going to have to vote on whose gingerbread house would you go with team A, B, or C as the winner?
Is there a prize involved?
Not usually, but
Okay.
that would be a fantastic idea.
Listen, look at me. Maybe I've started something
Look,
new.
I
You
think
have upped the Atwood game,
that's
Fran
this
Thomas.
year. Yes, you have just contributed.
Well, a teenager is going to be like, okay, if there's money involved, gift cards involved,
Right.
whatever.
Sometimes with boys, it's just let me beat my chest.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know?
Bragging rights.
Right.
All day long.
And I'm going to tell you, the husband is more competitive than the kids. So
Listen, you know how in football now, like this is also like a new thing. It wasn't a thing back in the day, but baseball does it too. Like, there's a wrestling belt. There's some item that they get and it's significant.
A
like
trophy.
Maybe
that's
that's
kind of
what we
like
need.
beating your chest, but not.
maybe that's what I need to do. So I need to have a trophy made
The
and
Christmas
it's passed
cup.
down every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a stocking, a Christmas.
Something they could, something that you are wanting that.
Yeah.
Our listeners may have some ideas.
I know.
Okay, y'all just throw them at me.
Listen.
Okay, I want to hear about how you kick all this off because we're in dispute over when this season officially begins between Fran and myself, but we know there needs to be a kickoff.
Is it December 1st?
So December 1st are when the elves show up.
And that's like magic. Christmas has begun.
And so usually...
Is your house decorated before
Okay.
December 1st?
Well,
Yes,
let me say
it is.
this because I'm kind of going off of what y'all just talked about.
Listen, I know, it's
Let
a
me
struggle.
explain myself though. So Halloween was Tuesday, right? Okay, I had to put trees up on Monday. So yes, you're right, October 30th. But let me explain.
No judgment.
So
I'm not judging.
right. Thanksgiving really is my favorite holiday.
Really,
I love,
Angie?
It really
Really?
is. It really is. But the reason for it is because I just love the simplicity of family and eating.
Yeah.
Endless amounts of eating.
Yes.
And so if I've got to put trees up during that time,
You're
I
right.
feel like my Thanksgiving's going to be stressful. And so let's get that done where when we roll into Christmas and Thanksgiving and all the things,
You're enjoying
I'm
it.
just playing Mama Elf.
Yeah.
And it's fun and I'm enjoying everything about the holidays.
See?
That's
See,
my
Angela?
reason.
I'm starting to believe
So-
that is true.
So my house right now, you're exactly right, is a mullet. There are pumpkins on my front porch.
And
that I refuse. And I've even told the kids, trees are going up, but lights are not coming on. Y'all just hold up on that.
I know, it's so hard.
It's time to bring the pumpkins in. But I will tell you this, on the pumpkin aspect, I have spent many dollars on some big pumpkins to put on my front porch. And last year I found these humongous plastic pumpkins at Hobby Lobby.
Really?
I bought them, and they store perfectly in my attic all year long, and they come out and they sit on my front porch for a month.
They look real from afar.
They look so real. And so,
listen, if you could come up with okay, I'm into that, but not now because, I'm over it now. But that and I want a mum. I'm not buying another mum, y'all.
I've killed them all.
I'm on mum strike because they literally, I don't know if it's because of where we live and it's still, a little on the warm side. I don't know what it is, but I'm not spending, it feels like, a lot of money on a mum that's dead in 10 days.
did you water them from the bottom?
No,
I don't water them at all. That's my problem.
I kill everything.
Water them from the bottom?
Yes, I kill everything. And this year is the first year I've ever lasted with my mums. But if you will water them from the bottom, they soak the water up from the roots.
Still not doing it.
Went to Home Depot, bought me 2 big orange buckets, and
I've seen the videos.
Every few days, I would just let them soak and then put them right back on the porch.
So smart.
So I literally hid my orange buckets behind the columns on my front porch because I wasn't going that far. I'm too lazy.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I survived this year until this weird freeze.
So they've lasted.
They have lasted. But now it's time to get rid of them, pull my pumpkins in, and let's throw out some. I need some nutcrackers on my front porch now.
And now is a great time to go to Hobby Lobby and hit that 90%
I'm telling
off.
you, I bet that they are, I'm doing my hands, 2.5 feet wide. They're humongous.
Well, and honestly, I've never, I always think Hobby Lobby Christmas. I'm going to go get my ribbon from there or whatever. I don't think about going to Hobby Lobby
to get a pumpkin.
For
I know.
It's hard to get into that with your dollars when it's come and gone, but you'll be so happy next year when you're like, I got this $40 thing for $5.
Right. And you know, when you hit that season, it's 50% off too.
Yeah.
And so I got 2 of them and thought, I have just spent way more than I would. But when you go and buy a $30 pumpkin, why do that when you can pay a little bit more and pull it out of your attic year after year?
I love that.
Okay. For the sake of time, Angela, you're gonna pick 2 things left, and this is why we're having Angie back on.
I know she's got to come back. Okay,
Regular contributor Angie Atwood, welcome to the show.
Family correspondent. Okay, I want to hear about the thing that you and your family do, your tradition with the pizzas and kicking off Christmas in the Atwood home, and what that looks like for you all.
So every year, my kids get an ornament from specifically something that's happened that year. So Zane got a shotgun this year, so his ornament this year, if he's not known this yet, but are little shotgun shells. Cute. I mean, on an ornament, whatever. So it's symbolic of something that's happened in their life that year. So we have. I
feel like a horrible mom. I've done none of these things.
No.
Okay.
No judgment.
No judgment. This is just
fun ideas we could start this year.
Right.
Can you start when your youngest is 22?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And if you do, you're contributing to their family tree later.
Yes.
You know? So anyway, but we started out when they were little, we would order pizza, and then we went through and we decorated our Christmas tree all together, and we would pull out the little ornaments and rehash what had happened that year, why this ornament was symbolic when Zane was 4 or when Knox was 2, or, and so, but now it's turned into, because we are a very competitive family as we've gotten older, it's turned into making pizzas. And so we get in the kitchen. We have all the stuff to make pizzas.
It's so easy.
Yes, all the toppings.
Pizza.
If you've not had pineapple on your pizza, you're missing out.
Banana peppers are my new favorite.
Yes, but all the toppings. I mean, we look like we are, rolling in the pizzas. And we're all just hashing it out. Who wants this on their pizza? Okay, let's do a half this on this pizza and half this on this one. And
if you decide to go in the delivery business, I've got the bags.
Stop it right now. Stop it.
So anyway, so
we make pizzas.
We make the pizzas, and then we get in there and we do the Christmas tree together, and we go through all of our ornaments, and then they'll get their ornament for that year.
And fondue.
Fondue. If you do not own a fondue pot, that should be on your Christmas list.
I do not. But we need one, friend.
Shocking, everyone.
So obviously, you start out with one fondue pot, and then it becomes addictive, because if you're going to do the food, then that requires oil and you're putting your meats and all that in there. We started out with one and we only did desserts, but, and then that's grown into the other. But it just brings the family around the table. So if you're not familiar with what a fondue pot is,
You're dipping in cheese or chocolate, right?
You're dipping.
That's all I know.
Doing this?
Or if you're doing meats, you're dipping in oil and your meats are cooking. But you have skewers. Everybody has a skewer with a different color on the end of their skewer. And I would not do meats for kids because you're dealing with raw meat and you need to make sure that's cooked. But for desserts, let's start simple. Everybody get a fondue pot for Christmas, and this is what you're going to do. You can do chocolate, peanut butter in it. You can do a s'mores mixture. Any kind of chocolate, Rocky Road. Okay. But then you're almost doing like a charcuterie board. You've got all of the toppings. And so that would be like marshmallows, brownies, Rice Krispie treats, strawberries, bananas,
I just want to be
pound
an
cake.
I'm coming over.
You're so funny. But you would have all this, and then you're literally around the table, and there's laughter, and you've got your skewer, and you're dipping, and you're dripping chocolate on your person beside you by accident, and it's messy, and it's fun.
Love it.
But we pull it out. It is worth.
Fondue pot. Does it matter which one?
No, you do. You do want one that will plug in because there's some that you can light. That's
that's what I'm envisioning, and I'm like,
no. You need one that plugs in electric.
Okay. We have to talk about two more things, even though Fran said two a minute ago. I want to hear about how y'all serve together because that is such a sweet, precious thing to do with your family at Christmas. And then I want to wrap up with one more thing. So tell us about how y'all have served together. Give us some ideas that we can do.
So we started Thanksgiving. And when the kids were little, obviously we were not tackling Black Friday and Target and all the stores, but we would go to Walgreens, and Walgreens used to have these fabulous toy sales that would be like 3 for $12.98. And I had contacted St. Jude and found out specific items that the kids there could have. Nothing sticky, nothing with batteries, things like that. And so we would load up. They were little. Everybody got their own buggy, and we just hit the toy aisle at Walgreens, and we would clean them out, and we would load it up, and we'd move on to the next Walgreens. And so then we found time between then and Christmas where we could deliver the toys. You can't see the kids at St. Jude, but the doorman there will let you sign the toys in. And but I've got pictures of Eden. She could barely stand up in her little coat, bundled up with all her bags from Walgreens. But that's how we kick off the holiday season. We've made homeless bags, like gallon bags. And it's assembly line. It's a fondue night where you're throwing some Kleenex in there, some gloves, some peanut butter and crackers. And I can remember one night we always kept them in the car. And as we came across, we would, especially, and a lot of times you're getting stuck at a red light is when you really have the moment of eye contact, if that makes sense. And so this guy, you could see, and I'm like, Lord, please. I just didn't want my kids to see him be frustrated or something that it wasn't what he desired, you know. And I just wanted their heart to be appreciative, but my kids to see that. And so anyway, we rolled the window down, and my son, I'll tear up. My son handed it out and just said, God bless you. And I watched the man put those gloves on and just warm up for a second. And it left a lasting impression on my kids.
What a teachable moment.
But a gallon Ziploc bag and just throw anything you can. Kleenex, like I said, the gloves.
Cough drops.
Chapstick. Dollar Tree aisle. Dollar aisle. Like easy stuff. And just keep them in your car. You don't know when the Lord's going to have you cross a path that is going to need that and that you can be a blessing. Put a scripture card inside of it. A little Gideon Bible if you have access to that. So anyway, that's one of our favorites.
We have time for one more story.
One more.
Super quick.
I'm the keeper of the clock, everyone.
Super fast. But Angie shared something yesterday. We've got to have you talk about this. You were able to include an older gentleman in your Christmas in a way that your children will never forget. And there may be people listening whose kids are grown and gone. If you're access to an older man who looks like Santa that can help do something super fun, tell them just quickly what happened.
So I told my husband one year, I said, I want to catch Santa coming in. which, I've got to have Andy there with me to enjoy Christmas with the kids. So where are we going to find a Santa? And so he knew a gentleman from his childhood whose kids were grown, grandkids are pretty, older. And for us, I didn't want to be a hindrance to somebody and ask them, hey, can we bother you on Christmas Eve?
Yeah.
Can you dress up as Santa? Again, my kids are getting 3 gifts in a stocking. So if I can have their little piles strategically placed in the garage, we are going to wait up on Santa and catch him in the act. And so we bedded down in one of the kids' bedrooms that had access. We could see the kitchen and the living room from where we were. And y'all, let's just have a slumber party in Owen's room tonight. And so that's what we did. And then we heard a noise and everybody wake up. Oh my goodness, I think he's here. Well, the kids go through the panic moment of, oh my goodness, he's going to leave. And what if he catches us? No, just be really quiet. And so anyway, we did this. We watched the man come and go 4 times, bringing things in. We watched him stop at the kitchen table, eat the cookies, drink the milk.
Can you imagine the excitement?
Andy and our hearts were racing. I mean, here we were holding the dog, too, that he wouldn't bark, and spook Santa, and the kids were freaking. But after the fact, and it was all said and done, it was amazing. It was probably the most magical Christmas we've ever had. But after the fact, we didn't realize what a blessing it was to this gentleman who missed the days and they're gone of the magical aspect of having kids in your home for Santa. And so it was something exciting and a blessing for him. Absolutely, I'll come be Santa at y'all's house. And so, anyway, so obviously we had to lay low, let Santa get out the driveway in his car. And before we could say, do y'all think it's safe? Do you think we can make it down there? And so then we went downstairs and we do Christmas in the middle of the night. That's the benefit of having older kids because then once they know the story, I'm like, look, I'm not going to sleep and y'all waking me up in 3 hours. So can you just go tell your siblings you think you heard something? And we do Christmas in the middle of the night every night. I mean, every Christmas. So.
I love it. So if you're listening and you don't have kids at home or your kids
Be
are,
a Santa.
whatever, or a Mrs. Claus.
Yes.
There's so many ways you can come alongside a family or help make homeless bags. Or there's just so many great ideas that I've learned from you that are doable.
It's such a magical season, and there's so many opportunities to truly be a blessing to somebody else. Yes, make traditions in your own family and have fun and enjoy those years because they do go by so fast. But in the midst of that, yes, playing Santa for somebody else, it's just sweet. So, yeah, we have fun. I mean, like I said, I'm a little bit crazy over the top when it comes to Christmas, but...
Well, I love the kind of crazy that you are. And I love the things that you have taught me just about how to make those moments matter within the family. So when you come back after the first of the year, we've got a whole page of things that aren't Christmas related that the listeners will love because I've benefited from them just within our family. So please come back.
All righty.
This was so great.
It just makes you think about being more intentional
Yes.
and thoughtful, not to overwhelm a mom that's listening and thinking, I'm not able to do that, or I don't feel gifted to do that, or that feels overwhelming. I can fall a little bit into that, not so much now that my kids are older, but I guarantee you if you were to, we're ending this episode and you think, okay, there's one thing. There's literally one thing that you said, Angie, that somebody can do, whether it's make the homeless bags or get the fondue and just have fun with that or make pizzas. I'll just tell you all this. If you live locally, we've done that, and we get the kit from Rock and Dough Pizza and just call that making our pizza, which is literally not really making a pizza, but there's something there's something that you can do. Don't be overwhelmed by this, but it's just so fun. You make it all seem so fun and exciting. And like Angela said, we would like to be an honorary Atwood if at all possible.
Y'all just come right on. The more the merrier, but be prepared. You have to compete.
Oh, no worries.
How about I be the judge with
that works.
Because that gingerbread competition thing is going to stress me out. So anyway, all right, everybody. This was a fun episode. Angela, I'm so glad that you thought to bring the fabulous Angie Atwood on the show.
Our new family correspondent.
Listen, and listen, all this is going to be in show notes, just things, so don't forget to look there. Okay, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful day. Wasn't that so much fun? Oh, y'all, we're grinning from ear to ear. I think we're all encouraged and inspired to celebrate the season in a different new way. Something stuck with you guys. I just know it. Okay, you guys know we record in the library here at Union University. And as always, if you are interested in Christian higher ed, we would love for you to come for a visit. You can schedule that online, uu.edu. If you've already done that and you're ready to apply, guess what? We've got a fee waiver code. Use the word TALK. TALK, all caps. Put that in the application and you do not have to pay that application fee. All right, you guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.